because we wanted to start off by telling you about a story that we saw. Mitch Lewis over at the Futurum Group has reported on some major new investments in chip packaging coming from our friends at SK Hynix. The investment comes in the form of high bandwidth memory, or HBM. The SK Hynix HBM chips have been seeing a huge increase in demand because of the growing number of companies that have been exploring AI development. I heard that's a thing that's going on, this AI deal. Now, you may wonder, HBM is critical to the operations of AI clusters because companies like Nvidia have been consuming a lot of HBM to put it into GPUs and NPUs and all kinds of devices that need all of this to do all the inferencing. The company has already announced a 12-layer HBM solution, and looking forward, they have even more complex technologies out there that they're just waiting to develop and sell to all of these AI hungry companies. Stephen, as the host of Utilizing AI, how big of a deal is it that SK Hynix is going to be doing this major investment in HBMs?
Well, I'd say that it's a big deal for SK Hynix, of course, because they are probably going to sell a lot of this stuff. But they were already a leader in HBM memory as well. They compete with companies like Samsung in this space. Essentially, HBM is kind of what it sounds like. I mean, it's RAM, memory chips, but they're optimized for high bandwidth. Surprise, it's right there in the name. Essentially, a lot of modern compute requires a lot of memory, and AI requires a lot of memory. That being said, if that memory is on the other side of a bus and used for general purpose, well, it slows everything down and it can idle these precious processors that you've and GPUs that you spent so much money on. So what we're seeing is a new wave of GPUs, and actually I should mention CPUs as well. Both Intel and AMD have delivered CPUs with integrated HBM as well, that move the memory a lot closer. They have a lot more bandwidth, which means that they can pass a lot more data more rapidly back and forth between memory and CPU, which means that these amazing processors that we've developed can do all the things that they're supposed to do. Specifically for HPC and AI, what we're seeing is a lot more models that use more data. And so if you can get more memory right there on the GPU device, then you can get a lot more done. You can use a bigger data set. I mean, you've probably noticed that people are talking about billion parameter models, multi-billion parameter models. In order to fit that stuff in memory and optimize the processing, you need more high bandwidth memory. So essentially, it's no surprise that SK Hynix is investing here. I would point out though that there's been some news as well from some of the other producers of HBM that they've had some struggles getting to market with their next generation HBM. And that actually could be good news for SK Hynix as well. Essentially, anyone who can deliver this stuff at volume, at scale, at a reasonable price is going to walk away with a big bag of money. And so we'll see how this all shakes out. But definitely the market for HBM is very bright.